It started with the clog. A simple inconvenience. The kind of thing you ignore until water rises too high and refuses to go down. I thought it was just hair at first, the usual mess from long showers and long days. But when I pulled the grate and reached in, I touched metal. Cold, solid, and lodged in the curve of the pipe like it didn't want to be removed. I twisted my fingers around it, tugged gently, and felt it come loose with a wet sigh. It was a ring, silver, thin, slightly tarnished but still intact. I turned it over. No engraving, no stones, just plain and old and resting warm in my palm as if it hadn't been underwater for weeks. I didn't think much of it. I set it on the bathroom counter, finished the shower, went to bed. The next morning, the ring was gone. I thought maybe I misplaced it. Maybe I threw it out with the tissue. But that night, the drain clogged again. Same resistance, same twist, same silver ring. Still wet, still warm, except this time, it looked newer, shinier. I could have sworn the shape was slightly different, more oval than before. I left it on the sink again, carefully this time. Watched it, even took a photo. The next day, gone. The drain clogged again. I didn't tell anyone. I live alone. But I started checking the water every morning. Started watching the mirror. Started keeping the door open just a little when I showered. The ring kept coming back. Day after day. Warmer, brighter. Like it remembered something I didn't. Like it was getting closer to what it had been. Like it was healing. And every time I pulled it out, I heard it. Not with my ears, with something beneath hearing. A sound like breath from beneath the tiles. A sound like someone remembering how to surface. I started leaving the ring in different places. First, on the counter. Then, in a drawer. Once, I even sealed it inside a plastic container, tucked deep in the freezer. It didn't matter. By the next morning, the drain would be clogged again, and the ring would be waiting, wet, warm, impossibly clean. As if it had never been moved, as if it had never left. That was when I began to search. Not because I believed in ghosts, or curses, or hauntings, but because I needed an explanation that made sense in the language of the real world. Something human, something logical. The building's registry said my unit had gone unrented for nearly 3 years before I moved in. The previous tenant had broken lease abruptly. No details, just a date, a signature, and a note from the property manager that read, refund partial, incident unresolved. I searched deeper, public records, news archives. Eventually, I found it. A paragraph buried in a decade-old forum for local urban legends. Girl disappears in old apartment on Marlowe Street. No forced entry. No evidence. Water found running in the bathtub. Police say she must have walked out, but neighbors claim they heard the water running for hours. Someone said they saw a silver ring in the drain, but when officers arrived, it wasn't there. No name, no date, no resolution, just a mention, a trace, I checked the photo I had taken of the ring on the first day, then compared it with the one I took last night. It wasn't just cleaner. It was changing. The band was straighter now. The dull surface had smoothed, and if I looked close enough, just beneath the inner rim, there was something I hadn't seen before. A faint line, a hairline crack. No, not a crack, a mark, a carving. 3 letters barely visible. AJM. I didn't know anyone by those initials. But when I closed my eyes, the letters repeated behind them, like an echo I hadn't earned. That night, I dreamed. I was underwater, in the tub. The light was dim, but I wasn't scared. I felt something pressed into my palm. A ring, still warm, still waiting. I woke up gasping, and in the darkness, I heard it. Not the drain, not the pipes. A sound from the bathroom floor. The ring sliding across tile, moving on its own, stopping just at the edge of the doorframe. Like it had remembered the way back, I stopped showering. For 3 days, I avoided the bathroom, brushed my teeth in the kitchen sink, washed with a cloth like I had something to hide from the water. But the ring didn't stop, even without running water. Even with the pipes dry, the drain still clogged. I'd find the silver curve waiting just beneath the grate, as if it had grown there, pushed up through the darkness, like something trying to surface. I stopped sleeping because every time I closed my eyes, I found myself back in the tub, lying still, not breathing, feeling pressure on my chest. And always the ring in my palm. Always the same whisper I could never fully hear. On the 4th night, I broke. I turned on the shower, sat on the floor tiles and waited. The water poured down, cold, then scalding, then cold again. And still I waited. When the steam thickened and the drain began to bubble, I reached in. This time I didn't pull the ring out. I held it there beneath the surface and whispered, "I know you're still here." The water stopped draining. The light flickered. And then, slowly, it began to rise. Not just in the tub, on the floor, around my legs. The water lifted like it had weight, memory, shape, and in it, a shadow formed. A woman no older than 30, hair clinging to her neck, eyes open, mouth moving without sound, and on her finger the same ring. AJM. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking past me, at the bathroom mirror, at her own reflection. Then she blinked and looked down at my hands. She reached out not to grab me, not to scare me, to return something. I felt the ring slide from my hand onto hers, and just like that, the water drained. The steam vanished, the shadow gone. But on the mirror, written in breath, a single sentence appeared, faint, slanted, slipping fast. "You found me." When I blinked again, it was gone. So was the ring. So was the clog. For the first time in weeks, the drain was silent. The air was warm, but I didn't feel relief. Because just before the message faded, I saw something else, another line, a second handprint, smaller, beneath hers, and a word scratched under the fog. "Stay." I kept the mirror wiped clean after that night, kept the lights on, kept the water moving like if I stopped for even a moment, she'd come back. But the ring never returned. Not in the drain, not in the sink, not in my dreams. And yet, something lingered. A wet patch on the tile that never dried. A faint mark on the tub like someone had sat there too long. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was listening. A week later, I received a letter in the mail. No stamp, no sender, just my name in handwriting I didn't recognize, but felt like I had once copied. Inside, a single page. The paper was damp. And in the center, typed neatly, Tenant B3, Amanda J. Moore. Date of incident, April 19, 2011. Status, not recovered. Possession unresolved. I never told the building manager, never asked who might have written it. But that night, I took a photo of myself in the bathroom mirror, just to be sure, to prove I was still here. The photo showed the room, the shower curtain, the sink, the empty mirror. No reflection, just the faint outline of a hand pressed flat against the glass from the inside. The next morning, the drain was clogged again. I reached in, heart frozen, but didn't find the ring. I found something else. A small silver chain, and on it a pendant I'd never seen before. Oval-shaped, glass-fronted, inside a tiny photo. Blurred, tilted, a bathtub, a shadow, a woman, me. But not how I looked now. Not even how I remembered. Just enough of me to be familiar, just far enough to ask. If the ring never left her, then maybe I never did either. Maybe I was the one she left behind.